this was really interesting. What do you mean by having a comfort zone?
So this is challenging the saying and just saying, well, let's go into it a bit more detail. Challenging that saying of you can only grow outside of your comfort zone, because it's headline, it's clickbait, because it's kind of like, well, unless you're willing to put yourself out there, you'll never do anything. To a point, yeah. But not everyone is in a privileged position that they can go and do that or feel comfortable to do that. So for me, what I'm talking about here is you will only give 100% and be able to take those really big risks if you know there's someone there to support you, that if you have somewhere to come back to, that there is some form of safety. Not complete safety, as we talked about earlier, where someone's doing it for me. That's different. Because we do need a little bit of, we heard it saying, burn the boats of like, well, there's no choice now, we can only go this way. That's fine when it goes well, but when it doesn't go well and you're left in the wilderness, it's a very dangerous, unhealthy place to be mentally. Whereas if we've got that support of the comfort zone saying, I'm here with you, that's where we're really going to thrive. And it's almost tied to everything we just talked about in identity, in potential. It's the fact that you need more than just this case of, well, I'm just an athlete who is going to be outside of my comfort zone the whole time. Comfort zones are there for you to rest and recover and to recuperate and learn and on what you've just done. You can't just live in the war zone, the competition zone, the fear zone, the fight zone. You can't live there all the time. It's not sustainable. But that's what we're telling people to do when we say, oh yeah, you can only grow outside your comfort zone. It's like, put yourself in a horrible position all the time. Well, that doesn't actually teach us things either. And you're more likely to protect yourself in that environment, so you won't grow as much. Because there is fear, because there is failure, because there is danger. So yeah, there's a little rant on that, and it's because I think I put myself into that place the whole time. I come from old school upbringing and old school sporting environments where that was what I was told to do, and that intensity is very hard to sustain.
Yeah, I think what we spoke around having your back as a coach and having that person's back and being behind them in their pursuit of whatever ambition they have and their challenges, rather than being in front of them doing it for them or even with them. I'm having a couple of athletes that I'm working with that are really interesting around the lack of initiative that they're willing to take, because they've never literally come out of their comfort zone in order to know how to take that initiative to find the answers in which they seek. They're actually waiting for you to show you where it is, to just, and I mean really show you. I think there's the famous quote of a great teacher doesn't tell you what to see, but shows you where to look. And that in it, I find the athletes that I've been working with, they're tuned in, whether it's through parenting, whether it's through school, that they're like, tell me what I need to do. And then I even worked with an athlete last night, and he was performing a skill, and he would turn around and he'd go, was that it? And I go, well, tell me. Like you're the one that it's your skill. I can only tell you what I can tell you some of the things that could help you get there. I don't even know if they're going to work, but he turned around and I said, unless you feel it's a yes, it's a no, right? Because if you're doubting it, then it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good to you. And it's just this lack of initiative to go, do you know what? I'm willing to seek the answer myself, and rather than feel like I'm being given the answer and then I just know. But then in that being given it, you've got absolutely no leg to stand on in figuring out how you even got there, what works, what doesn't work. And I was explaining to them, and my upbringing and sort of my journey to being a pro was hours and hours and hours of just sort of being on my own in a local park in the nets, trying to figure out how I could get the seam position of the ball to be in a certain direction so that I could get it to swing, and just saying to myself certain things, copying certain athletes that I could see on, it wasn't even TikTok or Instagram to even copy. It was like, what images can I sort of picture in my mind, and can I do that? Watching other people doing it, can I copy that? Hours and hours of just going out there trying to find the answers. And I think a lot of that stems from there being a comfort zone that then they get far too comfortable in, so that they get far too normalized to it. Whereas I think I really like what you're saying, which is take yourself out, but then come back, recover, and be able to then go out again, rather than the idea of that you just are going to stay in your comfort zone or you're just going to stay outside of your comfort zone, because neither are right.
So let's look at it in a really, really simple way of, you're a bird. If you spend the whole time in the nest, you never learn to fly. But then if you leave the nest and you're trying to fly the whole time, you're just going to end up exhausted and broken, right? It's as simple as that. So I've got to have somewhere to come back to, but I can't always be there, right? And I think that's where I do think the saying of leaving your comfort zone to grow is correct, but I think in the way it's been used and the way that the tone we've used and the kind of language we've pushed forward with it has been this all or nothing rather than the smarter piece, which is why I say challenge that. Let's go into it in a bit more detail as to what that actually means, other than it's either I'm either in the comfort zone or I'm out of it. It's like, no, when's the right time to be in what? And what's the reason why?
Hello, you legend. If you've enjoyed this video, then you might enjoy this video right here, which is the full unedited episode. Go on, head up to it. Up there. Go. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on any new videos. I'll see you soon.